Hello, it's Patti Behan again, and thank you for joining me. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this cute birthday card that's full of dimension by using glossy accents on the balloons here. And this doesn't have to only be a first birthday card, but you can use it for any age by using the by the numbers letter it stamp set. And I'm also using some Simon Hurley products, the digital die cuts that you can find when you purchase the stamps on rangerink.com. So let's get started. To begin, I'm using the Cakewalk stamp set, and here are the digital die cuts. I cut out some balloons, the present, and the bear. And the great thing about the die cuts, you can use this negative of the cuts as a stencil. And now I'm going to stamp all of my die cuts, and first I'll take the present stamp and place it on the block, and I'll be using some jet black archival ink to ink the stamp. And then I'm going to put that aside. And I'm going to clean off my stamp. We have Archival Ink Cleaner, and this is a great way to clean your stamps off. You just dab it on. You don't rub it because it's not a scrubber. We have the scrub it pad that can help you with that. So we'll just clean it off on the rub it scrub it pad. And next I'm going to use this balloon stamp, and I'll continue using the jet black archival ink, and make sure you line up the die cut with the stamp. Okay, now that those are done, I'm going to clean the stamp again. And I'm going to take the bear, place that on the block, and I'm still using the jet black archival. And if you want to make sure all the ink comes off, I'm stamping it off on a scrap piece of paper. And next I have the balloons, and this is where we're going to use the letter archival ink pads. I'll place a stamp on the block, and let me get these closer so that I can reach them easily. And the first color I'm using is Canary. And you ink up the stamp well, and then stamp it onto the balloon, lining it up. Like so. And I think I'm going to give it another stamping just to make it a little more bright. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so that one's done, and we're going to clean the stamp again. And notice how it's black from the archival ink. So to clean the top, you just take a paper towel and you blot it until the black comes off, like that. And then you can go ahead and clean your stamp. And sometimes you'll find that the archival ink will stain, but it will still be okay. And now I'm using Orange Bliss for the next one. And that looks good, so I'll just leave it at that. And we're going to clean our stamp again. stamping off, and now I'm using Belize Blue. I love this color, this is so pretty. See how bright that is? Okay, clean the stamp off again. And I'm stamping off just to get the excess ink off of there. Okay, now we can put that aside, and let's take our by the number set and find the stamps we need. I'm going to use the number 1. And I think I'm going to use the printed ST instead of the script one. I think that'll be nice. And I'm using the letterette block, and the great thing about it is it has these lines here, so you can line it up and make sure you're putting your stamps on straight. And always look at it from the front again too, just to make sure you have it where you want it to be. And then I have a piece of cardstock that's 1.5 inches by 1.25 inches, and that looks like it fits on there good. And I'm going to use the Belize Blue ink again and stamp it like right in the center there. Like so. Clean off my stamp. And then one last stamping to do right now. I'm going to stamp Happy Birthday onto another piece of Wendy Vecchi Perfect White cardstock. And even though I'm going to cut both of these words out separately, I'm going to place them on the block at the same time, and then I'll cut them out. So here's the cardstock, and I'm going to use the Orange Bliss ink again. And then go ahead and stamp it out like so. I just love how this archival ink stamps so crisp and vibrant on this perfect white cardstock. Okay, so now we're going to cut these out. I'm going to cut these out by hand. You can use a paper trimmer if you like, but I'll just cut them out close to the words. Like so. I'm just gonna edge these a little bit with some jet black archival again. I'm just gonna wipe the pad against the edges of the pieces just to give it a little bit of an outline and to help it stand out a little bit more. Just like that. It just gives it a little more dimension. And then I'll do it on the birthday, like that. And now we are ready to apply our glossy accents to the balloons. And so the first thing you want to do is to make sure that your glossy accents are flowing out smoothly, and you just use a piece of scrap paper just to test it out. And then the way I like to fill in the balloons is first make an outline of glossy accents. It kind of gives a little barrier before you fill in the whole thing. And then you can go ahead and fill it all in till it looks like this. And it'll be cloudy when you first pour it onto the balloon, but then as it dries, it'll dry clear. So don't worry about that. And I'm putting that aside out of the way because I always seem to knock into my wet pieces, even if it's a mile away. And then there you have it, and we'll let those set aside to dry, and let's color in our other items here. To do that, I'm going to use a Tim Holtz Detailer water brush and some Simon Hurley Create Dye ink pads. And the first color I'm going to use is Azure, and this is filled with water. And I'm going to smush some ink onto my nonstick craft sheet here, and just pick up some of that ink with the water brush, adding a little bit of water, and just note that your first stroke is probably going to be pretty dark, and we're just going to go ahead and color in, and we'll go back and forth with the color until we get it how we like it. There, I think that looks good. And now I'm gonna clean out my brush here, and I have a paper towel on the side that I'm wiping it off on. And then the next thing, I'm gonna use Rosy Cheeks, and same thing, I'm gonna wipe it on to my craft sheet, and then I'm going to pick up some of the ink, and I'm gonna color in the ears. And then I'm going to do around the mouth here too. Just wanted to add a little bit of color. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to color the bow on top of the package. And to do that, let me see how this yellow is going to look. I'll try that first. It seems that it's really not that dark here, so I'm going to add some of the orange. Yeah, that's a little better. I'm going to leave it like that. Okay, and now we're going to clean this up. And now I've let my balloons dry, and you can see how clear the Glossy Accents has dried, and I'm going to start to put this together first by using some Letter It double stick tape. And the first thing I'm going to do is attach the numbers to the package, and I'm going to peel off the liner here and just line up the top of the number there with the bow. And then I'm going to use Letter It adhesive foam, and I'm going to attach these balloons to the balloons with the strings. And that just gives it a little added dimension, and it will make it really stand out on your card. Now I'm taking a Wendy Vecchi Perfect card, and I'm just going to place all the items on the card before I decide where I'm going to put everything. And I think that looks good. And I'm going to use the foam tape to adhere the words. just regular adhesive for the balloon. And I picked up all these pieces at once and I'm gluing them together. Put that there, and then for the last thing, the balloon over there. And this needs a little more glue in the corner there. And that's it. You have a fun and vibrant birthday card to give to somebody that's sure to put a smile on their face. So if you'd like to try to make this card, we have a full supply list in the description box below, so just click on the link. And also don't forget to subscribe to our channel to see more crafty videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.